Steven, if you had to choose between the life of Jimbo Fisher or Tommy DeVito, which life would you choose?
Ooh, getting paid millions of dollars just to do nothing, or live at
For 8
home
years.
and consume chicken cutlets.
Yes.
Hmm,
Tough choice, I know.
that's a tough one. You know my love for chicken parm.
I mean, everybody loves chicken parm, especially when your mom makes it.
Ah, God, he didn't even mention the baked ziti.
Or the meatloaf.
Yeah, give me the money. Give me the money for
Yeah.
8 years. I'll take that. But
'Cause-
hey, I forgot about the laundry. She folds his own laundry.
I mean, those are all good and compelling things to make you want to stay home. But at the end of the day, with that money, you could leave your parents' home. So
Yeah.
I go with Jimbo Fisher. What's going on, everybody?
The lucky one's his parents, though, because he's still, even though he's not making, veteran quarterback money, he's still making some form of NFL money. So he's at least contributing in some fashion where the parents probably don't have to.
Yeah. Just your opinion, man. Derek Papa, Stephen Langford. If you don't know what we're talking about, Jimbo Fisher fired from Texas A&M on, I believe, what was it, on Monday. And he has signed a huge contract. He gets the biggest payout ever for a coach that gets fired. He gets $77 million for the next, total. But he gets paid, I think, upwards of $7 million for the next 8 years. So good for him. And also on the flip side, that sounds all good. But then Tommy DeVito, if I could find the exact quote here. Where is you, Tommy DeVito? I thought I sent it to you, but I guess I didn't. Tommy DeVito told the New York media recently that he stays at home still because he's from New York, and why would he buy a place when he can have all the luxury of staying at his parents' place? And once I find the exact quote here, Tommy DeVito on living home with his parents. I don't have to worry about laundry. What I'm eating for dinner, chicken cutlets, and all that is waiting for me when I get there. My mom still makes my bed. Everything is handled for me. Tommy DeVito, living life, man, and we're just all trying to catch up with him.
A lot more. I think there are more NFL players that actually do this than that care to actually admit to it. Do you think that? Do you think so?
I don't know. I would say he's one of you.
It just reminds me of the conversation we would have in 2020 over the Warriors and Kai Bowman. How's he living in the Bay Area with the amount that he's getting paid? We always had those conversations with.
I don't remember Kai Bowman.
You don't remember Kai Bowman?
No, dude. I mean, but he might as well be playing for the Warriors right now because I know everybody's watching right now. Warriors are in deep fucking trouble here. So Steph Curry not playing tonight. That was already a thing. He's dealing with a knee soreness, and we'll figure out the MRI tomorrow. But right out the gate, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green get into a scuffle with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden McDaniels. Klay's jersey gets ripped, and immediately all three players are ejected. Draymond Green, because whenever he's involved in anything now, he gets ejected. He put Rudy Gobert in a headlock, but he was just trying to de-escalate the situation. Klay Thompson's out. I don't even know who's on the court right now. Is that Podziemski right now?
Podziemski, Derek.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and this is a pivotal game, Steve. We're talking about in-season tournament here.
I know. This is the second game of the group stage. What's going to happen with Group F? Are they on F?
I don't know.
What group are they part of?
All I'll say is I commend the Chase Center for not going all out batshit crazy with the court, because this looks like a normal NBA court to me as opposed to many of the other courts I've seen in the NBA in-season tournament.
Yeah, I don't know what it was with the shading on the picture that they released, because they released, designs of, or rather, what do you call them? Installations of the courts. They made graphics of all of them, and the Warriors design looked a little more gray, I think, from what I remember. So it doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to be. They just had the Spurs and the Thunder, and I watched that game for a little bit, at least until it got out of hand, and just even watching that thing on the blue court is an eyesore. But that moment, before there's even any points scored, all right, You know what they need? Andrew Wiggins game. Here it comes.
You laugh, Steven, but when they need it, he comes.
Yeah, and I kind of disagree about Draymond, though.
Poor phrasing by me, but
I kind of disagree with about Draymond.
what?
I think he made it way more than what it actually was. Gobert didn't look to be involved in it. It looked like Gobert was just trying to pull Clay off of him. And then Draymond decides to go full UFC, John Jones rear naked choke on Gobert. Very impressive. It kind of looked like a little brother, like choking out the big brother, you know, like maybe that's just what I used to do. But I think Draymond is well in the wrong there. And I get the flagrant two. I do not understand the ejection for Clay nor McDaniels.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I want to go back and see what happened with Draymond and Rudy Gobert, because to me, yes, it looked like a violent act, but at the same time, from what Fitz and Buki were saying,
okay, come on, are we really going to take?
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, you hear me laugh while I was saying that, but
yeah,
did Rudy Gobert have Klay Thompson in a headlock too? These are all things that will be analyzed in Zapruder film-like fashion tomorrow on whatever Bay Area radio station you listen to. Jesus, in real time. Good Lord, that was nuts.
Yeah.
We'll keep you updated on what happens in this game. There still is a game to be played. And no, AJ Cruz, the sky's not falling. But you got to think, without Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, or Steph Curry right now, we'll see what happens here. I don't know how much offense the Warriors had to begin with. And you see the first shot Klay Thompson had of the night was a total air ball, and then Andrew Wiggins just hits the side of the backboard. They need help offensively.
Yeah, and Klay took his shirt off. It's the closest that Jesse's paid attention to a Warriors game in quite some time. As soon as Klay had that shirt off on the bench, he was
got a nice tan going. Klay,
he does. She was locked in, dude. She was locked in from that moment. She doesn't.
Hey, we're all locked in.
She doesn't need Steph Curry to tell her to lock in through Twitter. Okay, all she needs is a shirtless Klay Thompson, and she's automatically locked into the game.
All right, we will update you as the Warriors game goes along. I'm sure the post-game show will be intense tonight. Whatever Steve Kerr says, whatever Draymond Green or Klay Thompson says, we probably will be off before then. But, yeah, we'll keep you updated on this game itself. As far as football, we got a shit ton to talk about, Steven.
Football.
But real quick, you went to my old stomping grounds in Austin, Texas. How was the trip?
It was a fun little trip. Naturally went by quickly. Went to a little barbecue place in Temple, Texas, which is like a little town a couple of miles outside Round Rock. Went to Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah, that's the fucking spot, man. The best gas station in all the country.
I didn't understand that it was a gas station. I didn't get what it was.
It's like, not even Steven, it's not a gas station. It's an event.
It is an event. Dude, the amount of Buc-ee's merch that they had.
Merch in the food.
With that creepy-ass chipmunk.
Creepy. It's just like a Chip and Dale guy. And I don't mean the dancers.
Look at this thing. It's look at this. All right, I got
you got the hot sauce, huh?
I got the hot sauce. I got sweet and spicy ghost pepper, but look at the chipmunk. This is that little chipmunk. I'm trying to get out of the ring light there.
Yeah.
That's the way the chipmunk looks on everything.
You have a ring light now?
No, it's on the camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying to go viral with your TikToks.
I do have a camera. Well, Derek, it's all about lighting. All right. You going to talk to me about lighting?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes. You don't think I know about lighting, huh? Mise en scène, all that shit?
I can barely see your face right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't own a ring light.
What is it again?
Mise en scène, man. Or as Rick Tittle said a long time ago on this podcast, escuro, whatever the lightness and contrast.
Chiaroscuro.
He was a great director.
But yeah, Buc-ee's was it was overwhelming, the amount of stuff that they had.
Well, did you eat anything there?
I got a bag of beef jerky.
Dude, they have like breakfast sandwiches and burritos.
I know, but we just ate barbecue
Taco
before
Bell.
that.
Oh, okay.
I just ate barbecue. No, not Taco Bell. Had Whataburger though.
Damn, patty melt?
No, just a regular burger. It sucked.
Dude, you're fucking up.
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah.
Did you Jesse was telling me you guys were going to Salt Lick. Did you go to Salt Lick?
We never went to Salt Lick. We didn't do that. I don't know why the plans changed, but which was fine. I didn't have a real
barbecue
problem.
in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, apparently it's not as good as everyone makes it out to be. I don't want to get into that. But then there's And then we went to Austin a little bit, went down Congress Lane or whatever it's
Nice.
called. And
South Congress.
we saw Congress, had a couple of brews out there, drove down 6th Street, saw
Yep.
Joe Rogan's stand-up club, the Comedy Mothership. That looked pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
And then yeah, had the Friendsgiving, and that's about it. Saturday, watched college football for most of the day. Shout out to Washington versus Utah. Pretty entertaining game. And then
Did you watch your Ducks?
I watched my Ducks. Watched my Ducks against USC. No, I
Quack.
didn't watch. I actually didn't watch my Ducks.
No.
Nah, didn't catch.
You didn't
me.
watch the Texas game? They almost lost, and they probably should have.
Did they really?
This is a thing every week. I don't want to even get started. Texas, I'm expecting them to be lower in the CFP this week with the way Alabama's playing. They could barely keep a lead. Their best player, Jonathan Brooks, running back, has torn his ACL.
That was oh, that's right. They're going with the freshman, CJ Baxter or something. I forgot his name.
Something like that. And Quinn Ewers is not the guy that he thinks he is. He wants to come back next season. I'm like, better be ready to back up Arch Manning, my friend.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, they were blowing out TCU. That game really got close because we just turned it off.
They won 29-26. Texas cannot keep a lead.
Damn, we turned that off in the third quarter over to the Warriors Cavs. What a waste of a change.
Well, that game was worse.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, Warriors seem to have issues with big, longer, rangier athletic teams. And we'll see tonight as they are currently up 10-9 on the Wolves.
And then Sunday, managed to watch a little bit of football.
All right, then. Well, that perfectly leads us to the football. And speaking of hot sauce, I lost this week. Terribly. So, Steven, I give you the option. I might have to tell another embarrassing story from my childhood. When would you like me to do this punishment?
Well, let's do it right now, and then you can break down the Raider game. How's that sound? Give me your quick hot sauce breakdown of the Raider game.
All right. Well, while I get that ready,
while you get it ready, I'll explain the comments here because we got a couple of questions from the listener. Shout out to Skills, shout out to AJ, Ernie, all of you, always. You guys are like the only ones that even tune in live to this thing, so shout out to you. That's also not any fault to yours or Derek's, really. It's my fault because I'm the guy that's supposed to be posting social media stuff, and I haven't been as good posting videos, so that's on my end. But anyway,
lollygagging.
Was that me? Is that a little too transparent? Is that a little too transparent behind the curtain? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would people expect us? I think people expect us to have like producers on producers, like the Rich Eisen show or the Danettes. We have the Opinettes or something.
Dude, look at our setup. I don't think anyone expects us to have producers on this thing.
Anyway, I guess Jesse's sort of a producer. Shout out to Jesse. What was the question?
And she gets paid handsomely.
She does. With my cooking, which is just perfect. It's really good. God damn it. Where's the questions that I was going to answer? Oh, why is Derek on the left and Steven on the right? This night just keeps making no sense.
We usually keep things, in symmetry with the names below the logo.
Correct. Left and right normally, but for some reason,
I can change that for you real quick. You ready?
Yeah. Oh, hello.
And now I'm back. See?
All right.
There you go, Skills.
That works. Just to full transparency here, my little toolbar on my MacBook, it changed. And I hit a button, and that took me out of the video. And so I went back in, and then it put me on the right instead of the left. And that's answered question number one. And this is my favorite one from AJ Cruz. Might be my favorite question we've ever had. Why is Derek wearing a beanie? Someone mess up his haircut.
If I had hair, sir. No, it's cold in my apartment. I'm just wearing a beanie. I got a bald head.
It's impossible to mess up that haircut, sir.
All right, fuck you. All right.
I'm sorry.
All right, should I eat this thing already?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I got since the bomb beyond or the bomb evolution has no effect on me. I'm rolling with the Apollo going forward until I get my hands on Pepper X. And by the way, Tom Tolbert today on the show was talking about how he goes to this spot in Oakland to get burritos before he goes to Warriors games, and he usually gets a chicken tiki masala burrito.
Okay.
And he goes, they're not really spicy, but I could get them really spicy. So he thought about bringing in burritos one day for the show, and it's kind of a Russian roulette of someone gets a burrito, you got to pick out which one you get. And I said, I volunteer for whatever the spiciest burrito is. He goes, no, dude, it'll burn your tongue off if you get that burrito. I'm like, I can handle it. He was like, so okay, so that's in my future too. I do all these challenges that my stomach can't handle. So in my future, I got the Pepper X coming in the mail, and I'm going to eat a very spicy burrito live on the radio, which will probably sound terrible.
Jeez, man, a chicken tikka masala, huh?
Yeah,
That's an interesting combination.
that's that's an arrangement for the next day between me and the toilet.
Yeah, that's a fusion I'm into, though, man. The Indian fusion with a lot of different types of foods, like the Indian fusion with pizza. It's bomb. So good.
All right, you ready?
Mhm.
All right, I'm talking about the Raiders to start off.
Yeah.
All right, here we
Give us
go.
the hot sauce breakdown as soon as you do.
I got the last dab Apollo. Oh, is that the right one? Yeah. Last dab Apollo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's on the usual pita chip, and here we go.
Nice. Oh, the ASMR of the pita chip. It really shines through the radio or the podcast or the microphone.
It's really crunchy.
Yeah,
All right.
it works. How is it?
Actually building up a tolerance for it until I swallow it. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Raiders win 16-12. Oh, my tongue. I give more praise to Antonio Pierce. Now I'm going to lose the beanie because it's getting hot. All right.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. More praise to Antonio Pierce because excuse me.
It's a good start.
He's getting the job done. 2-0 as head coach of the Raiders. Josh Jacobs had his best performance. I always get the hiccups.
He's on fire.
Had his best performance this season. Almost got 100 yards. And then went back of the game and lost it, right? He had 100, then lost it.
Yeah.
Also, did you think he fumbled on that play that would have put the game away while they're having that drive?
Oh, it was close, but I don't think so.
It was hard to tell,
Yeah.
but definitely not enough evidence to overturn that call.
Nah, I don't think so.
His body may have landed on somebody before he fumbled the ball, but anyway, Raiders win the end.
Yeah.
The Raiders defense has been the best it's been in years. And I can't remember the last time the Raiders had this good of a defense. Maybe in 2006, if you remember that season, like the offense was putrid. One of the worst offenses you'll ever see in the history of football. But the defense was on point. So it's along those lines. I know they had a couple bad outings this season against the Bills and Bears, obviously, but for the most part, that defense is playing well. Patrick Graham has done a great job from what it was a season ago to what it is now.
Yep.
Robert Spillane, maybe the best cover linebacker the Raiders had since Kirk Morrison or Thomas Howard, the way he gets interceptions. Very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden O'Connell played a solid game, had the turnover quickly, but really kept him in the game, and I can see why he's starting. He's probably the only quarterback on the team. Brian Hoyer can throw, but he's, not what he used to be or ever was, honestly. He's probably the only quarterback on the team that can deliver the ball to Tony and Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
And great catch by Michael Mayer in the end zone. Even though the defense was not swarming to Zach Wilson when he got sacked, I think 8 times the week before. No sacks for Max Crosby, I believe. But overall, a very solid performance and good for the Raiders to get to 500.
I think the main thing for the offense is just getting back to their identity. Wow, Ernie won. Is that to the tune of Annie, are you okay? Derek, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Derek?
Are we going Michael Jackson or Alien Ant Farm?
I'd say Alien Ant Form because we're doing hot sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, um, the offense just got back to what they do best, and that's run the football. And they've done it these past 2 games. They put an emphasis on it. Josh Jacobs is running like the league's leading rusher he was last year. Kept on hearing that on the Sunday night broadcast. And look, overall, I thought it was a good game by the defense as well. And you're right about Spillane. That's my number one thing. He stands out. I mean, he also had a sack in this game. He's just been notching interceptions this year. Has a neck like Takeo Spikes. Underrated neck.
This no neck.
No neck. Put him in the Hall of Fame, the neck Hall of Fame right now, because he's got his neck's it's something to behold.
Different than like Mike Glennon, who had the long neck.
Yeah.
But linebackers like Takeo Spikes or Al Wilson, remember him from the Broncos?
Yes.
No necks.
Yeah.
No necks, just all head.
All
head, baby.
Do you count it as the neck? Because that right there.
Oh, he's got a neck.
Yeah.
But he's like show Takeo Spikes. Like he just had no neck. Like it was just all, like I said, all head.
Yeah.
And Al Wilson.
Takeo Spikes.
Those guys were.
Jeez. Oh God. All right. This pulling up thing is not going great. All right. One more second. All right. Here we go. Takeo Spikes. Jeez.
Yep.
Just no neck.
No neck. All head, baby.
Mm-hmm. Spillane could go right up there though.
Yeah.
And the defense, a lot could be said for it. But I do think we have to take it with the fact that it's the Jets offense we're talking about here. Zach Wilson, not very good. He just continues to make poor decisions and just can't come through. He just can't come up like whenever they need it. So the Raiders defense has been playing well, but they're really going to be tested, I think, next week. But it's the run game that really stood out to me in this. I mean, the fact that you had Jacobs getting 116 yards against this Jets defense, and that defensive line, at least in the first half, it was getting after the Raiders offensive line. Like that Jets D line was just, it just felt like everyone was making plays from them, whether it was, Quinnen Williams, who just makes plays every single game, or who's John Franklin Myers. I always remember the hyphenated guy. John Franklin Myers was making plays out there. Quincy Williams, like all these dudes, but they still managed to notch 116 yards of rushing from their starting rusher. And that to me is what changed the game. And that's why it was 16-12.
Yep. By the way, just an update on the Warriors game. Despite no Steph Curry, no Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green, the Warriors are currently up 30-22. Is this correct? AJ Cruz, they went on a 15-4 run.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Steve Kerr is heated tonight.
I don't blame him. And that whole fracas, however you pronounce it.
Fracas.
There you go. Frackum. It probably lit a fire under their ass. So we will see what happens in this pivotal in-season tournament game. It's big because LL Cool J told us so. All right.
Yeah, LL Cool J said knock you out, and then Draymond said choke you out.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm with you, Steven. That's obviously the Raiders. Very fun, and I'm glad they're having fun again. Very impressive wins, I would say. But let's be real. The 5 wins that the Raiders have had this season have all been against, as I put it, anemic offenses. Week 1 against the Broncos. They beat the Packers. They beat the Patriots. They beat the Giants. They beat the Jets. All not juggernauts when it comes to offensive output.
Right.
So let's keep that in the back of our mind. But at the same time, impressive what Antonio Pierce is doing. But a real test will be this weekend when they play the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's going to be a lot. They got to travel to Miami, early 1 o'clock start on the East Coast. And it's a whole nother animal than what they've been facing lately with the offenses that they've played. So very fun. Good for the Raiders. They needed this to uplift them from the Josh McDaniels days, but let's take this with a grain of salt a little bit. They're 5-5. They're in the playoff hunt. When they have the screen and they show in the hunt, the Raiders are there. But we'll see for how much longer.
Yeah. And this is going to be a time where we're talking about the Dolphins the same way we're going to be talking about the 49ers here coming up, because their upcoming schedule after their bye week, they got the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans, the Jets again, then it's the Cowboys. So then after that, it's actually kind of a gauntlet towards the end of their season. But the Dolphins, we're going to be right back to calling them, one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. And maybe we should start believing them until the playoffs and all that sort of stuff. The types of overreactions that we tend to do. Also got overreactions coming up on the pod as well. But yeah, solid win for the Raiders. It's good to see them having fun. Antonio Pierce understands what message to give these players. And I think what did I say? I think I said 6-2 was what they needed to go for the remainder of the season. If I think they're going to keep Antonio Pierce around, I think that's I think they very well could. They're just rejuvenated, man. And watching Devontae Adams after going dumb to blow the whistle in the locker room and everything, he's back to having fun again. Gosh, I'm jealous of the dreads. I wish I had dreads so I could shake them, but can't. So,
Jesus Christ had dreads.
What? How about Jesus Christ had a white guy comb over and he didn't do anything with it. But nah, man, it's great to see them having fun. Great to see them winning. Max Crosby, just an absolute beast yet again. A lot of fun to watch. They're a fun team to watch. You should, when I was watching.
Well, fun
earlier,
if you like defensive football.
Yeah, but there's intrigue though. There's a reason to actually keep your eyes on the TV. Like watching with McDaniels week after week was just, you're sitting there like, what's the point? What are they doing? And then with Jimmy Garoppolo under center. By the way, I got to be honest. I've kind of forgotten that Garoppolo was on the team. That's where I'm at with him.
That's a whole nother that's a whole nother conversation we're gonna have in the offseason of what to do with him, because it's not that simple. He is due $24 million whether he's on the team or not. And if they keep him, kind of in the same vein as Derek Carr a season ago, if they keep him past a certain day, he's due another, I think, $11 million. I could be totally off. There's plenty of time to look at all that shit, but Jimmy Garoppolo's gonna get paid either way, if he's on the Raiders or not. It's just a matter of if the Raiders think it's beneficial to have him stay on the roster. But there'll come a day where we talk about that more. But yeah, I mean, as far as the Raiders right now, yes, they are a fun story, and the cigars came out again. It's fine for another week, but are we going to do this every week where the celebration is we're gonna light up stogies in the Raiders locker room just to prove that we're having fun once again?
Or in Max Crosby's case, a backwood.
Yeah.
that was my favorite video to come out of last week, doing an interview with the Raiders and just ghosting a backwood. That was just an all-time thing from Max Crosby there. But I like it. It shows spirit. God, that locker room has to smell bad though if they're doing that every week.
And that poor, equipment guy, all their jerseys smell of cigars. He has to get that smell out.
Tough.
Nah, that's easy to do, actually. But yeah, it's fun, and I would tell Raider fans, this is fun right now, but don't get your hopes up, because I know Antonio Pierce is a fun guy, and he bleeds silver and black, and he fits the image. He looks like a Raider fan. He was a Raider fan. He's showing up to the games. You see a video of him smoking a stogie to NWA. He's riding to the games in his caddy. It's fun. But also, there's little things like earlier on in the game, he threw the challenge flag when there was a turnover. And just little things, it's not the end of the world, but that cost the Raiders a timeout. And those are things he's going to have to learn if he wants to have this job permanently. Just, it's good for right now, but the true test will come when they face the Dolphins and the Chiefs to see if he can actually scheme up a game plan that can compete with those teams. We talked about it a week ago. Do we want a rah-rah guy that's going to, galvanize the team and, motivate everybody? Or do we want an X's and O's guy that's on offense or defense? I don't know. I go back and forth with this whole thing of, do you want the young, innovative offensive mind, or do you want a leader of men? And I think you could get a mix of that with certain coaches. Right now, Antonio Pierce is a leader of men, but let's see when he plays against the X's and O's coaches.
Agreed. But all they need to do right now is fun, because that's what they haven't had for the entirety of the season. And if they can't have fun after just 2 weeks, or if they want to have fun after 2 weeks, let them. But I think towards the end of the season, if for whatever reason, if they upset the Dolphins, all right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but say it does. All right. Then you're 6-5. You're looking to be in the playoff hunt. That's when things start to get serious. But at this point in the year, and they might not have this mindset, but this is the kind of way that I'm looking at it. Fun is all they got for the rest of the year. Like playoff hopes, I don't see that really happening, even though I just created a hypothetical that it could. But right now, I think these 2 weeks, this is what they needed. Beat up on the bad teams, get your wins, remember what it's like to actually win. I don't think they really, I don't think they remembered what it was like to win and what it was like to have fun after a win. I don't know what that whole locker room was about. I'm sure you and Alon discussed it on Saturday, but that whole article with Hondo Carpenter and
The
how
bullet points?
the bullet point Hondo. That's a great nickname for him, by the way, bullet point Hondo. When he writes these investigative pieces, it's just bullet point after bullet point. It's like, come on, dude, you don't have to write a bullet point, just write a paragraph. But
Right.
whatever, he can do what he wants to do. But what he said, McDaniels was basically just in his own little bubble and didn't know what was going on outside of his own office. So, that's probably how it was after wins too. So at least morale is up.
No, definitely. And I got to be honest too, the Hondo Carpenter piece, very well done as always by Hondo, but not anything new, I would say. The article he wrote a year ago about Derek Carr was more in depth and really telling. This one, we heard everything already from Jake Glazer as far as what went down with the team meetings and whatnot.
I just don't need a bullet point that said, and they celebrated as a team after the win. Next bullet point.
Well, the funniest part was the part that you texted me where somebody on the Raiders kept referring to Rocky fighting Drago in Rocky 4 as the German guy.
Yeah.
And every time Hondo in italics would put Russian.
Yeah. Yeah, the German, parentheses, Russian. Good stuff.
But let me ask you this, Steven. You said the rest of the season is really for fun.
Yes.
Is fun going to keep Devontae Adams around? Because I got to be honest, him talking to all the Jets before the game made me think he was down to go there at the deadline.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure he's down to go there in the offseason.
Yeah, I think that's likely bound to happen unless they make some sort of move. But and despite all the fun that he's having, I think it could. But with the way that his career's panning out right now, it's not like he's Jordan Poole, who feels his legacy's already solidified and because he's won a ring and now he's just taking over for the Wizards. But Adams is looking for that Super Bowl win. And, the Jets do look like that team that you're thinking, man, if they had Aaron Rodgers healthy, like these would be contenders in the AFC right now. Like Zach Wilson's not single-handedly losing them games. Sure, he's played well in spurts, but also you're not winning anything with Zach Wilson. Like you're just not. So if Rodgers is good to go next season, I wouldn't be shocked if Adams leaves. And I also think he kind of knows that Aiden O'Connell, though they seem to have a pretty nice connection, I think he knows that he'd rather play with Rodgers than Aiden O'Connell going into his second year next year. So is it? Probably not, but whatever. It's good to see him actually. It's just good to see Adams having fun because this dude looked like he was just out of sorts since Carr's been gone. And it's not fun seeing Adams that way because you take the push of the shove of the cameraman from the Chiefs and then just take that moment and then fast forward it all the way up until week 7 of this year. And it's just, he looked like a different dude. So, Adams has turned into one of those guys where I'm just like, whatever makes him happy, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have a generational Hall of Fame talent on your team and you don't want to fuck that up. So we will see what happens with the Raiders. But right now, it's fun. But will it last? That's pretty much what you and I are talking about. let me talk real quick about Jordan Poole because you brought that up, Steven.
Yeah.
I saw his comments last week where he was like, I got my ring and now I got my team and I'm all good now. And then last night, did you see what happened in the Raptors game between the Wizards and Raptors? They have a team huddle where the coaches of the Wizards are trying to get everyone huddled up and talk about what the game plan's going to be. And Jordan Poole looked disinterested beyond everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was just talking to somebody in the huddle. Multiple teammates, Landry Shamet, I forget who else, are pointing to, I believe that Landry Shamet's on the Wizards now, but they're all pointing to him saying, hey, listen to the coach. Coach is talking right now. And you can see Jordan Poole mouth, this is my team. I got it. Not listening to the coach and just doing his own thing. And now Mark Stein reports that the Wizards, if anyone is so inclined to pick up his contract, may look to move on from Jordan Poole. No one deserves to be punched in the face, but I'm starting to. I mean, I never really, I never thought it was that big of a deal, but I'm starting to realize what Draymond, like, it may have just been boiling to the point where this guy's so annoying. And if this is how he's going to just treat him, like, is this how he's going to be after he leaves the Warriors? The quotes really pissed me off in the first place. But his whole mentality, the way he plays, his whole Shaq in a fool moment against the Celtics, I say whatever happens this season with Chris Paul, it's a win because he seems like a head case to me.
I might word this in a weird way, and I actually did see the video. I did not know that was from yesterday.
Yes, last night.
I did not know that was from as soon as yesterday. For some reason, I thought I saw this like 3 days ago, but I just searched it up, and yeah, it was the same video that I saw. In a way, I'm not saying 100% it's this way, but in one area, there's Jesus. In one one way.
Are you still trying to phrase this? Or?
Go. Jesse just walked out in a face mask, and it's freaking me out. But good Lord. So what was I gonna say? Oh,
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, one way that last year that punch kind of benefited him because we gave him the benefit of the doubt throughout the season. And what I am drawing conclusions from is that after they won the championship, he turned into a different player.
Jordan Poole?
Yeah. Like his attitude, his mindset, everything. And he got paid. Like he got the bag and he won his ring. And after that, I have a feeling he just became a totally different dude. Someone who the Warriors clearly weren't on the side of. And if he didn't get punched, which is what everyone goes back to, if you defended Draymond Green, like you were automatically on the side of, oh, you're okay with punching players and all that. But I think in a way, like we would have seen that attitude play out through the season. And I think fans would have turned on him at some point because that type of thing, that video, that's not something that's going to put you in the good graces of any fan base.
No, not a good look. We miss the days of the young Jordan Poole, of the videos that I guess that were covered when he was a kid, just singing Mike Epps, I love big girls. Remember that?
No.
Oh yeah, there's like a video on online of him like singing I love big girls and I cannot lie. Walk up to the club, baby. I'm that guy. It's a good song.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, that's Washington's head case now.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go on.
I'm telling you, dude, if the punch didn't happen and there wasn't some form of sympathy from the fan base that he got punched and he got kind of, I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of ripple effects from it. Obviously, it's embarrassing for this family and for the team and all of that. And, anyone who wasn't on the side of Draymond Green automatically was going to Poole. But I really think that his attitude would have been showcased one way or another through the season.
Well, I think it's pretty clear with what they decided, and we've been down this road a million times already, but it's pretty clear that they decided with Draymond over Jordan Poole, and now Jordan Poole has his team, and it sounds like his new team, is already frustrated with him, so we will see what happens there. But back to football. 49ers got off the schneid big time.
Yeah.
3-game losing streak. They got the bye. They go to Florida to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and honestly, I thought the Jaguars were going to put up a bigger fight than what went down. But the Niners have the more talent, so it's not that surprising. This is the way that they should have been playing from the get-go when they were the best team at football, in my opinion. It wasn't even close when they were 5-0. But the pass rush got there. The addition of Chase Young paying dividends right away. 5 sacks, I believe 4 turnovers on the day. Just an a near perfect performance by the 49ers. Probably their best performance next to the Dallas game. And honestly, I think it's more impressive than that to go to Florida and do all that. I was very impressed with the whole game. Brock Purdy playing maybe his best game of the season next to the Dallas game. But, for him to bounce back from where he was the last 3 weeks was very impressive. Kyle giving him shit for the first touchdown pass he threw. I understand why, he didn't love that pass, but in the end, it got caught by Ayuk. Just an utter ass kicking. And Steve Wilkes going to the sideline, I think probably made a difference just to communicate with the players. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with the 49ers. They're back to where they used to be. And yeah, they're showing why they're one of the best teams of football.
Being able to communicate with the defensive backs for Steve Wilkes, I think that was the biggest thing. I forgot who it was on the sideline that he was talking to, but I think it might have been like Diamador Lenore, who he was coaching up on the sideline. Just little things like that. I don't know. 3 games can make a ton of difference, and I understand why people could get worried after, a losing skid. But I think what you saw against the Jaguars is truly who the 49ers are if they're healthy. It's just a team that's going to use their defense as the catalyst. It's going to make this thing tick, and the offense is going to go as they please. Though the run game wasn't the run game wasn't that great. Debo broke out for a couple of decent ones, and McCaffrey had his chances later in the game to score that touchdown. Actually, it was a great answer by McCaffrey. I was fully expecting him to go with like the cliche, "Oh, it's always great to get touchdowns, but I was just going for the team win." But instead, he goes, "Yeah, I suck." I actually thought that was great in the postgame. But anyway, with Brock Purdy too, the last couple of games, I think we made too much just out of his performances overall, and we don't like to make these excuses, but I think it's appropriate to say, like, these last 2 games, and they didn't have him 100% in this one, but the last 2 games prior to this one with the Jacksonville Jaguars, missing out Trent Williams and Debo Samuel is kind of a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I don't think we try not to do that as sports fans, right? We never want to blame the injuries and say that's the sole reason for it. But based on how the offense looked, maybe it's just the fact that they were more confident as a unit. Maybe it's because, Debo being a wideout and motioning all over the field kind of opened up the middle for Brandon Ayuk, because that just takes a defender away instead of letting them put, 7 men back there to cover everything. Like, they have to keep a focus on Debo. I don't think we were making nearly as much out of the Williams and Debo absence as was needed. And I think it was made apparent with that win.
No, I honestly think a big deal with the 3-game losing streak is the injuries.
Yeah.
Not defensively. I think that they just played good offenses. But this was their best performance. Say what you will about Trevor Lawrence, I still think he's learning how to be one of the best in this league, and he just got rattled by a better defense. But yeah, Steven, when they have everybody healthy, I think that they're hard to beat, and they might be the best team in football when it comes to that. I think a big deal of Brock Purdy feeling comfortable was Trent Williams by his blind side, and Debo Samuel helping out the offense with the shifts and reverses and whatnot. By the way, back to the Raider game real quick. Just thinking of reverses, that DeAndre Carter fake on the fake tush push, best fake I've seen of that play so far. Like that's what I want to see more with the Eagles. Not just run that play, but do it in a way like you could overpower them to get the first down. But if you want a big play, have a fake like that. Anyway, it was helpful to have Debo Samuel to help out the offense in that regard. It totally helps Brandon Ayuk in that situation. It helps Christian McCaffrey to run for more yards, helps, George Kittle. So I think the key for the Niners is to stay healthy, and that's something that has really plagued them in the past. And I think that it's something that we'll be watching for as the season goes on. But yeah, when they're at 100%, they're dominant. Nick Bosa had his best game of the season. Chase Young's going to help him, and the secondary played their best game. Do you think? I don't know if you've seen the Eagle. I don't know. Still got hot sauce on the tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the Eagles' upcoming schedule?
It's a gauntlet, isn't it?
It is. Do you think there's a possibility the Niners could still get the number 1 seed?
Of course, it's very possible, but I'd have to take a look at both. Like, before I even jump to any conclusions there, of course, of course, it's a possibility. Well, who do the 49ers got on their schedule coming up? So they got the
Well, they got to go to
Buccaneers.
Philly,
They
and
got
they
the
got to play
Buccaneers, the
Seattle
Seahawks.
twice.
They're at Seattle too. The first game, that's going to be a Sunday night football. Then again, the
Thursday night,
Seahawks.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. And then the Cardinals. I think that's going to be an interesting one with Kyler Murray. Kyler
Yeah,
Murray's always given the 49ers some fits over the years, so it's not going to be the same
and
that it
not
was.
Larry Fitz
It's not going to be the same that it was facing that.
or Larry
So
Fitz. Yeah.
they don't have like a hard schedule coming up, but it's one where there's some possibilities they could lose. But where's the Eagles? But they got the Chiefs, the Bills, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Whew.
Rough stretch there.
It is a rough stretch, but I think having the Giants 2 of the last 3 games is going to help their number 1 seed case.
Yeah.
So I'd still take the Eagles right now just because they have a comfortable 2-game lead, but it's going to be damn close.
Yeah, I would say that the Niners have a chance, but the Eagles, I mean, I don't expect the Niners to go undefeated the rest of the way. I think they're going to lose eventually, and I think the Eagles will lose during that gauntlet as well, but it'll be tough. The team that I think that's in the best position to get the number 1 seed for the NFC is probably the Lions. They are extremely impressive, and I will get to them later on. But back to something that you brought up, Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to be Mr. Curmudgeon here.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the Raiders smoking cigars after wins. I don't like Kyle Shanahan forcing that record on McCaffrey. I don't know. I don't like forcing records. Like, it should come natural. And I feel like the way that was done, like, everybody else was out of the game. It was 34-3. Sam Darnold's playing. You don't have Deebo Samuel in there. You don't have George Kittle in there. You don't have Brandon Ayuk in there. What are we doing? Like, I get it. It's one of the best records in all of football is consecutive touchdowns for Christian McCaffrey. But I don't know, like the way that, like he just had a rib injury earlier this year, and we're really going to try to force that down, the Jacksonville Jaguars' throats. And Doug Peterson was a good sport about it. But honestly, if I was the opposing head coach, I'd be like, Kyle, what the fuck you doing here?
Yeah, okay, but it's an 18 games, man. Like 18 that's a lot.
I understand.
A record that hasn't been set since the 60s, Derek. And he probably asked McCaffrey, hey, you want this record, don't you? You want this one. All right, go out there. Like, it was probably for McCaffrey's request, like not all Kyle Shanahan, although you are risking injury, but
yeah, you are.
You are risking injury, but records are records, man. And if you could get 18 straight games with a touchdown, why not?
But when does it stop, Steven? When does it stop? Next week against Tampa Bay. He's got to get, but then it keeps going and going and going.
What do you mean?
The record.
No, it doesn't, because it's not there anymore.
But you want to you want to leave it in the dust.
What do you mean?
That's a stupid point by me. I'm just saying, like, every week the McCaffrey's going to want a touchdown. Whatever.
What? No, not anymore, because there's not going to be any chance of breaking the record. This was a once-in-a-lifetime thing for a player who is one of the best that we've seen and has struggled with injuries through his career, and he needed this, so I get it.
Yeah, it was just very uncharacteristic of Kyle, because normally he wouldn't do shit like that. And the reason I bring it up is because one of his proteges, Mike McDaniel, was in the same position earlier this year. You know what I'm talking about, Steven? Mm-hmm. When they were putting 70 up on the Denver Broncos. And Mike McDaniel had an opportunity to kick a field goal to go up 73-20. And that would have been the single season scoring or single game scoring record. And Mike McDaniel was asked after the game, how come you didn't do that? And he goes, we're not here for single game records. We're not here for regular season records. And also, that's not what I'm about. At the end of the year, I want to hold up the Lombardi trophy. I don't want to do it in a way where it's going to come back to bite me in the ass. That's interesting that Mike McDaniel had that attitude. And I just thought it was kind of weird for Kyle Shanahan to go for that at the end. I understand. Right. Believe me, I love history. I do. And it's a big deal for him to get that record. But it just seemed forced and weird for me.
Okay. Well, if you're going to make the Mike McDaniel point, then I'd refute that by saying, let's look at Tyreek Hill's stats. All right, he's at 1,076 yards. The highest total for a single season in receiving yards is 1,964. Do you not think that, let's just say, there's one more drive to go, the Dolphins are blowing out whoever they're playing the last week of the season? It's probably like the Patriots or something, who are just a moribund team, as I like to call it. Who are they playing the last game of the season? All right, it's against the Bills, so it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so
we'll see for the Bills' sake.
Yeah. So let's just say he's approaching 1,964. And let's just say he needs 20 yards to break the record, and the Dolphins are crushing the Bills. I'm guaranteeing you that McDaniels is keeping Hill in that game as long as possible so you can get there. Sure, it's the McDaniels thing. It's because you're making that comparison. That's what bothers me. The McDaniels thing,
because it's a good comparison.
That's with a team, though. That's when you're just running up the score. Like, who really cares about that? But for a player, like, to do that for one of your guys, you do it.
Okay.
You do it.
No, listen, you're probably right. And I remember many times in history, I mean, my dad brings it up all the time, and on Monday he was quiet about it, but Jerry Rice ran up the score against the Raiders in 1994 to get the all-time touchdown record. And Al Davis was not happy. But hey, it was Monday Night Football, and it was a good moment. Same thing with Drew Brees. Drew Brees against the Falcons when he was going to get the single-season yardage record. He didn't need to go back in the game and throw another touchdown pass to break the record, but he did. So things like that happen, and believe me, it's good for sports. It's fun. I just thought it was kind of unnecessary, but I understand it. What I don't understand is how Kyle could walk on the field along with players and other coaches during Ambry Thomas's return. That was nuts.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, so we agree on that one.
Yeah, we could agree on that one. Just not the record thing. I mean, who cares about getting the other coach pissed? Whatever. Can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, Derek.
Beautiful, Stephen.
Thank you.
But no, like when that was going down, I was like, Jesus, Kyle, you was walking on the field? What the hell's going on out there?
Yeah, Shanahan's excited.
So it was a weird day for Kyle, but all in all, they won 34-3, and all good with the Niners right now. They're at 6-3. They got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. Should be another win for them. But then they got quite the gauntlet after that. 2 games against the Seahawks, 1 game in the middle between the Eagles. We'll see how it goes for the old 49ers. Before we get to quick hits,
yeah,
I want to talk about the Bills and Broncos last night.
Oh,
yeah. The Bills, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, I think, the last 2 seasons. And I have a soft spot for the Bills because I go to Buffalo quite often. Both my grandparents are from there. My dad grew up in Buffalo, so I have family ties there. Never been to a game, always wanted to go. But that stadium, Ralph Wilson Stadium, whatever they call it now, fun stadium. It's right near a neighborhood. People park their cars on the lawns and then go watch the games. They're going to get a brand new stadium, and that stadium is built because of Josh Allen. And Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. He's going to be the face of the Buffalo Bills. He has changed that franchise from being the team that Tom Brady beats on twice a year to being the leaders of the AFC East. But that is not the case this season. From the get-go, from week 1, Josh Allen has been turnover prone and way more than he has been in the past. And he looks lost. And just from the beginning of last night to the end of the game, just so many mistakes, from James Cook fumbling on the first possession to Josh Allen throwing just horrendous interceptions to the ending of the game where they blitz once and they get the sack on Russell Wilson, but then Russell Wilson throws up a prayer to Jerry Jeudy that they're playing for the pass interference. They get the flag, then they're bailed out by the missed kick. But then they have 12 men on the field somehow, and which, by the way, I made this mistake on Tolbert Copes. The 12th man on the field was not DeMar Hamlin. I know a lot of people are saying that. That's not the case. Somebody else. But they can't lose that game with how the Bills have looked this season. They are supposed to be one of the juggernauts in the AFC, not to mention the whole NFL. And this year they've looked lost. And from the Buccaneers game where Chris Godwin could have turned his head around and caught the Hail Mary, they could have lost that game. They should have lost the game against the Giants where they didn't get the pass interference call at the very end. They should be below 500 right now. And right now they're at 500 at 5-5. They should not have lost the game last night, but they did. The Bills are probably the most disappointing team of football this season. And it's just frustrating because when I watch teams like the Bills and Chargers, I'm like, they have all the talent in the world. What the hell's going on? And to me, it's the coaching. Ken Dorsey was fired this morning. And I know a lot of people are saying, like, they're putting up the stats on Twitter saying, like, Bills are the first team in efficiency, blah, blah, blah. Watch the games. The Bills offensively, they have no creativity. Since Brian Dable has left, it's Madden offense. It's all go routes or hand the ball off to James Cook. And I thought Ken Dorsey really didn't help Josh Allen a year ago, and he damn sure didn't help him this year. So I think the firing was warranted. And I think Sean McDermott, I think I said this before the season started, I think Sean McDermott's on the hot seat right now, where if they do not make the playoffs, hell, even if they do make the playoffs, I think he's probably going to get fired. And I look at a guy like Ben Johnson, who's the offensive coordinator of the Lions, who could fit right in with the Bills. But mostly, it's the regression of Josh Allen. This dude is lost. You see him in the post game, and he just can't say anything. Like, I don't know what's going on. But my advice to Josh Allen, and you're not going to take advice from me because I don't play quarterback, but my advice to Josh Allen is no more golf stuff with Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, no more celebrity tournaments. You need to fix your game because you have all the talent in the world, and it's not showing. There are reasons why Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL because he's dedicated to his game, and you see it on the Netflix show, and you're going to see it with Joe Burrow when he's on the Netflix show. Josh Allen just has a bad vibe to me, and we should be ridiculing him in the same vein as Lamar Jackson and these other guys that throw interceptions, that are turnover prone. He should be getting ridiculed, but he's not going to lose his job. He's going to remain in Buffalo, but he needs to turn the shit around because this is pitiful what's going on with the Bills.
I wouldn't say it's a bad vibe with him. I'd say it's way too much of a laxed vibe. Like, talking about his offseason, and you mentioned Mahomes. Like, I look back on, the guys like Brady and all those dudes. Before they became who they were, champions, they were just relentless in their offseason preparation to try and win a Super Bowl, to win. And Josh Allen, when I'm hearing interviews, and we mentioned this at the start, we've talked about Josh Allen in a whole bunch of different ways. The first game of the season, we talked about him this way. Then, like, the next 4 games, I think we're like, oh, maybe we were wrong about Josh Allen. But now that they've lost 4 of their last 6, we're like, okay, maybe we were right about Josh Allen. We mentioned it at the top of before the season, but like, Allen was doing interviews, and he's talking about how his goal during the offseason is to play on every major golf course, like, around the world, which is great. That's fine, but you got football, like, until you win a Super Bowl, your summers, your off seasons should be dedicated to just football. And there was one telling clip that came out, speaking of Tom Brady, and his name's escaping me. I think Kevin Wilde is his name, from Fox Sports. He does the show with Nick Wright and those guys. But he posted a video from that Tom Brady podcast with Jim Gray, the Let's Go podcast. And Brady's literally giving Allen advice on there, saying it's okay. Like, as a quarterback, you have to draw that line by saying, okay, I don't need to be the hero here. It's probably smarter just to check it down and keep the drive going instead of just trying to create these big time explosive plays. And it's funny that you mentioned it's like a Madden offense. It's that Madden curse. It might be real because I think Josh Allen's head maybe got a little big, and whatever he was saying, because that same interview that I talked about where he talked about on the golf courses or whatever, that was on Part of My Take. In that same vein, though, he also mentioned that this year was going to be different. I haven't seen any of that.
Nope.
And this regression has happened the last 2 years. I'm seeing a lot of this today too, from Ernie where was the first one? Where did this all start? Well, whatever. I didn't see the context to it. But Ernie called the Chargers the Bills.
Yep.
Then other Ernie too said Keenan Allen's legit, and then Ernie said so is Diggs. And Stephon Diggs, I saw someone post like a clip, like, you see the numbers correlation since Diggs got there. Like, that may be true, but I think you give Allen any number one receiver, then he's going to go off. Like, he was a different quarterback 3 years ago.
Yep.
And now he's the same guy he was. He hasn't evolved, and sad to watch, because last night, like, dude,
it was hard to watch.
They still had a chance to win that game, even though they turned the ball over 4 times.
Yeah, that was the hardest part with watching that, was just like, the Bills are just shooting themselves in the foot, and the Broncos are doing nothing. The Broncos lucked into winning that game, but the Bills totally did not deserve to win that game either. That was just the most, like, ew feeling I had after a Monday Night Football game. It was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
No one deserves to win that game. It was just gross. And yeah, I mean, they totally fucked up with the 12 men on the field with the field goal.
So bad.
And Sean McDermott's got to answer for that. That's inexcusable, as he put it. I don't know, man. I think the Bills, if you look at their schedule, it's pretty bad too coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're in deep jeopardy of missing the playoffs, which is just something I could not even think of before the season started. I mean, in a season where Aaron Rodgers was going to be part of that division, and then he tears his Achilles, and the Miami Dolphins are very fun and explosive, but they have their struggles against the best of the best in football and more physically imposing teams. The Bills are just totally not taking the opportunity to take over this AFC, with the Chiefs struggling and the Bengals, kind of struggling, but I still buy them in the AFC a little bit more. This is a missed opportunity, and I think that this was something that was bound to happen eventually, because I've always thought of Sean McDermott is a good coach, but is he a great coach? I don't think so. And I think I've said this before, but if you're going up against the best of the best in the AFC, the Andy Reids, or even Zach Taylor, is Sean McDermott going to do enough to beat those guys? And my answer right now is no. I think they do need an offensive coach that can team up with Josh Allen and get him fixed, because he is broken.
Well, it's a perfect mix, wasn't it, with him and Daboll? Like, you had the offense. Like, Daboll seems to be a really good mix of both. The kind of leader of men and the offensive guy. Like, if you see him on the sideline, the dude just goes nuts. And I think the Giants players believe in him, but at the same time, the Giants are running with Tommy DeVito right now. What can you really say for that offense? But
hey, chicken color Parmesan, mama.
But with Ken Dorsey and Sean McDermott, it's clearly different. And McDermott, he's a defensive guy, but man, even with the special teams, though, like, that decision is on him. And that was after a timeout.
Yeah.
It was after a timeout. You can't be doing that. So it's just all gone to hell, really, for the Bills. And man, I mean, some were comparing this to the Jim Kelly days. Well, these Jim Kelly teams made it to the Super Bowl. I know they lost in devastating fashion 4 years in a row, but
yeah,
like this Bills team hasn't even sniffed it. And they were like, where is Josh Allen in his contract right now? Like, he's in what, the second year of that deal, or what, the third year of the deal?
Third year, I want to say third year. I think he signed it right before the second year, maybe. I think he signed it right before the 2021 season.
Okay, well, oh damn, it actually, what the hell, doesn't kick in until, I don't know how they've done this contract, but it looks like the actual salary doesn't kick in. The base salary doesn't kick in until next season. Like, right now, he's only making $1 million in base salary, but he's also making like a bunch in bonus money. And I don't know, however these cap experts allocate it, but he's in the third year of that contract extension. Like, this is when you're supposed to be taking control of whatever conference, whatever division you're playing in. Right now, the Dolphins are kicking your ass. You're lucky the Patriots are not the same Patriots anymore, or else it could be a lot worse. And the Jets, also very lucky that the Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers, because right now the Bills would be at the bottom of the AFC East barrel.
Yeah, I think they missed out on a golden opportunity here. They obviously showed what they can be when they beat down the Dolphins 48-20 earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
But ever since then, they have not been the same team, and I think the injuries have played a toll on them. Tre'Davious White being out and Mike Milano, and despite that, Sean McDermott has done a good job with the defense, but I don't think that's going to save his job. I think at the end of the day, this team had Super Bowl aspirations, and they'll be lucky to make the playoffs right now, sitting at 5-5. So I would say big changes are coming to Buffalo if they don't make the playoffs, and even if they do make the playoffs, I know a lot of people were upset a year ago when they lost to the Bengals in the second round. So I would say they need an overhaul, and they need a kumbaya between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs because I don't know what happened in the offseason, but there seems to be still I don't want to say like obviously losing doesn't help. Like it seems that Stephon Diggs is better friends with who's my guy on ESPN Deportes? Sergio Dip. Did you see that before the game?
That's not Sergio Dip.
That was Sergio. Wasn't that Sergio Dip?
No, Sergio Dip hasn't been around for a while ever since he's having the time of his life.
Who's that on ESPN Deportes?
I don't know his name.
It's not Sergio Dip?
I don't know. Clearly,
Sergio got canned after that whole thing?
He didn't get canned. He's still around, actually. He's doing broadcasting, but I don't think he's okay.
Well, my mistake to that gentleman.
Hang on. Having the time of his life. I missed that.
Oh, that was when he was talking about Anthony Lynn. And it wasn't Anthony Lynn.
Yeah. God. Who was it? John Sutcliffe.
Oh, my mistake. Okay.
Yeah, not Sergio Dip. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Do people not know Sergio Dip? Yeah, because if you mention Sergio Dip and someone questions who's Sergio Dip, yeah, we're gonna play the Sergio Dip audio. I got it. Right
this
here.
Is classic audio from what 2017, the first game of the season.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My bad. This is definitely not the guy from last night.
No, it is not.
Here on the field, from up close, just watching Coach Vance Joseph. From here, you watch him now on the screen. This diversity in his background is helping him a lot tonight. Quarterback at Colorado, defensive back in the NFL. And here he is, having the time of his life.
My apologies to who's it? John Sutcliffe.
Yeah.
My apologies. It's not
clearly not your guy.
Not my guy. But
who's my guy? Yeah. Sergio Dip. Dip hasn't been around for 6 years.
I'm still living in the Dip past, baby. But yeah, Bills are up Schitt's Creek, so we'll see what happens with them.
Up Dips Creek.
Dips Creek. Yeah, well done there, Stephen.
Nice.
Should we do a little bit of quick hits?
Okay.
All right.
So just a fair warning, I did not catch a ton of NFL over the weekend because I was flying for most of the day. Managed to catch the 49ers early and the Raiders, obviously, for the night game, but that's about it. So
that's why you got to fly JetBlue, man.
Southwest was fine. They had the Giants and Cowboys, but honestly, I wasn't going to watch that.
No,
I can't. I can't watch the Giants anymore. Like not after that showing against the Raiders. I'm like, I'm not watching any game involving the Giants.
Can you imagine? Like, obviously, his parents must be Giants fans. So when I almost said Sergio Dip again. When Tommy DeVito goes home, they're like, "Hey, mom and dad, where's the chicken cup of Parmesan?" And his mom and dad, I imagine them in the same voice, just being like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? We're not gonna fucking feed you after that performance. 49-17. You get your own fucking food, okay? There's Jersey Mike's down the street. Get your own."
He's got that one uncle just sitting in the corner who's a Jets fan. Like, hey, you suck. Hey, Tommy, you suck, bro. You suck.
Hey, at least Zach Wilson didn't look as bad. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, to be a fly on the wall during a DeVito dinner.
And then Danny DeVito shows up. I got Jersey Mike's. All right.
What's up above?
The commercial where they're dancing to "It's the Rhythm of the Slice," that always makes me feel uncomfortable.
Agreed.
All right. 6 games this week in the NFL for Week 10 finished with a game-winning field goal that expired in regulation. First time in NFL history. That was exciting. Incredible comeback for the Browns to be down 24-9 and come back against the Baltimore Ravens. Exactly why I think the Browns are going to be a playoff team this year, because they run the football, they play good defense, and they get enough out of Deshaun Watson, unfortunately. And exactly why I'm not buying the Ravens. Just because, listen, I know that some people are going to be like, well, if you're going to ridicule if you're going to ridicule Lamar Jackson, then, you got to do the same thing for Josh Allen. I've seen it with Josh Allen. We've all seen it with Josh Allen. That playoff game where he was 13 seconds away from beating Patrick Mahomes, that's the Josh Allen I expect. I haven't seen Lamar Jackson do that in the playoffs. And he really pissed the game away against the Browns, throwing that pick six, multiple interceptions, actually, in the second half. So for that reason, I still think that they're a very complimentary, football team with running the football and playing good defense. But I'm not seeing it yet with Lamar Jackson passing the football. So for that reason, I'm not buying the Ravens just yet.
I'm not buying them simply because that Seahawks win 37-3. We overreacted way too much to that. Like, just because they had a damn near perfect game, like I saw something like, if Lamar plays like this team's winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's a huge if.
Yeah.
Like, that's not always going to happen. They're not always going to get, their rookie Keaton Mitchell running for 140 yards, including like one that went for like 65 or 70 or 60 or whatever it went for against the Seahawks. You're not going to see dominant outings like that. They're too inconsistent. They're a good team, right? But they don't seem to play up to their ceiling as often as you'd like. And you see it against the Browns here. And didn't the Browns like miss the extra point?
Yep.
I had that. I put that right at the end. When I got on Southwest, that game was happening as I'm walking on to Southwest. And as soon as I turned it on, that's when they were going for the game-winning kick. And I saw Dustin Hopkins hit it.
Yep. Now, so that makes the AFC North that more interesting, especially when the Bengals lose to the Texans. That was very impressive. Texans, they are not afraid of anybody, and D'Amico Ryans has really turned that franchise around. Think about where they were with David Culley as head coach and Lovie Smith. The last game of the year, they could have had the number one pick again. But I was very impressed, and C.J. Stroud looks, obviously hands down, probably a rookie of the year. People are saying he's in the MVP discussion. I wouldn't say that just because they never give it to rookies, but he's been very impressive. And the Bengals should have won that game, honestly. They came back. They were a little rusty because they didn't have all of their wide receivers. T. Higgins wasn't out there. Jamar Chase was battling a bad back, but he still made that great touchdown. And honestly, they should have won the game if Tyler Boyd doesn't drop that pass in the end zone. So I still like, even though they're not in the playoff picture currently, but I still like the Bengals to be the best team out of the AFC. I'm buying them despite the loss, but I also am buying the stock of the Texans. They could sneak in as a sneaky wild card team.
Man, we've been talking a lot about the Belichick coaching tree since the whole McDaniels firing and all of that. But what we haven't really talked about is the front office. Nick Caserio. He was with the Patriots all his time, really. I think he was like director of player personnel for like 13 years or something.
Yeah.
He was with them for a while, took over as GM a couple of years ago. And you got to give him credit, man, because that mix that we're talking about right now, I think the Texans have found it. They found that perfect mix of D'Amico Ryans, who is not just a leader, but he's also a defensive guy who understands how to motivate his players. And then you got an offensive play caller in Bobby Slowick, who just came from Kyle Shanahan's, being Kyle Shanahan's assistant for years and years. Like, they found the perfect mix there, and then combine that with the fact that you got a rookie quarterback who you made the right pick on that can fit perfectly within the system. Like, I know CJ Stroud's been just lights out this year, just bonkers, like having probably, he's on pace to have the best rookie season that we've ever seen from a quarterback. Like, that's how good he's been. There haven't been that many great rookie seasons. You'll find with a lot of the superstars, the legends of the game, the legends of yesteryear. But I think what's not going to get talked about enough is just the difference that coaching makes and what stability in coaching does. And it seems the Texans have found it right now. So all credit goes to them. Bengals, I'm not going to make too much of it. I think the Bengals can be a playoff team. As you mentioned, just one key mistake, one thing changes, the whole game flips. So I'm not too worried about the Bengals. It's just all praise for the Texans from that one.
Josh Dobbs, the story of him is getting more and more impressive each week. just joined the Vikings a week ago, came in to win that game against the Falcons, and they kicked the Saints' ass. And, they're going to get Justin Jefferson back in a couple weeks here. Vacancy in the playoffs. Very impressive what he's doing. He has uplifted the team since losing Kirk Cousins for the season. Kevin O'Connell is doing an amazing job. On the flip side, I mean, the Saints could still win the NFC South, but this is not going well for Derek Carr and the Saints. Like they could probably win the division at 9-8. But is this what they really envisioned for their team when they made this addition with him?
I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think so. How long is the Josh Dobbs honeymoon going to last? Well, the Vikings have the Broncos, the Bears, the Raiders, then the Bengals, Lions, Packers, and Lions again to close their schedule.
Yeah.
So the honeymoon is going to last for quite a while. But Josh Dobbs is still not Josh Dobbs. It's a great story. Great story coming from Gruden's QB camp where he's like, man, out of Tennessee, you're an aerospace engineer. I wish I could do that, man. Like that kind of stuff. Coming from
they're calling him the Pastronaut.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But
I don't know how long this honeymoon's going to last, but you know what? At least there's some, see this is what the Jets needed when Aaron Rodgers was gone. Some quarterback to give them a boost. With Kirk Cousins gone, all hope was lost, but now Josh Dobbs has restored that hope. So, you know what? As long as he keeps winning, it's going to be fun to watch them for the remainder.
Did you see Robert Saleh go on Michael Kay's show and have no good answer of why they're playing Zach Wilson still?
No.
It was awkward, where Michael Kay's like, listen, you're in the playoff hunt. Zach Wilson's not playing well. He gave like a bunch of reasons of why to look at another quarterback or start Trevor Siemian. And at one point, Robert Saleh goes, yeah, I hear you, Michael, but I don't have any good answer for you. I'm going to plead the fifth here. To me, that is Woody Johnson and Joe Douglas saying, like, we drafted him second overall. We got to see what we got in him.
Eek.
Yeah. But to go from Super Bowl team to evaluating the quarterback, that's a rough deal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rough day, as they say with Mad Dog Russo.
See ya.
Patriots. Oh, boy. Hey, we don't have to do any more 6:30 games, Steven. All the international games are over. And this one definitely deserved to be on at 6:30 because to win 10-6, oof. Colts didn't look great. Patriots damn sure didn't look great. Mac Jones throwing that interception in the end zone. Yikes. That is, I mean, you asked me, 4 weeks ago, a month? Is Mac Jones the worst starting quarterback in football? Yeah. I think we're there right now. And that's to revisit the whole 2021 draft and the talk about Mac Jones being the guy for Kyle. I don't know how he would play with them right now, but it's rough. And yeah, not to mention, have you seen this video of Bill Belichick?
No.
Oh, dude, look it up real quick. If you could pull it up, I'll explain. If you just type in Bill Belichick on Twitter, you could probably find it. It is there is a video circulating of Bill Belichick coming out. It's a ring cam surveillance video of him coming out to the front porch of somebody's house. And it's him with no shirt on, looking like dazed and confused, while he slowly tries to shut the door of the house and leave. Many people believe that the newly single Bill Belichick was having a one-night stand and left the house, and this woman released the video to everybody.
How dare she? Oh, come on.
Did you find it all?
Yeah. Wow.
Hold on. You pull it up for the audience?
Oh, my God. Hang on. Jesus. This is... Oh my God.
Yeah. Hey, good for Bill. He's not doing anything wrong here, but
see, this is what you get, the premium content if you're tuning in live to this thing, because there's a little bit of audio.
Yeah. There's Bill. He's looking a little confused. Wearing some swim trunks. And it's a gloomy day in Boston, and now he's walking down the steps looking to see if anybody's looking at him. He's going to his car, I believe, without a shirt on.
He's in a back alley.
Yeah.
What the hell, Bill? Hell
he
yeah.
looks like he's in the like if you ever seen Black Mass, like that area of, of Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Where's Whitey Bulger? Whitey Bulger back there?
I never want to see you around Quincy, okay? You gotta get fucking shot.
This is something I'm gonna say something that I never thought would be uttered out of my mouth. Me and Bill Belichick have the same body type. Wow.
I think you're doing better than him.
I really need to get to the gym, man. Jesus. Whew.
I saw a couple weeks ago. You look fine.
I know. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. Dude. Shout out to Bill, though. Good for him for having fun. How dare she?
Yeah,
Let go of the
that. Oh, like we don't know what actually happened, but if that's the case, that's lame.
Come on, dude.
But also, I would love if somebody at the press conference goes, "Hey, Bill, there's a video of you," and he's like, yeah, we're on to whatever team we're playing next."
So that had to be in Boston, right?
Oh yeah, well the way that it looked, like I said, it looks like something was right out of Black Mass.
So you might as well, if you want to guess her name, we have to do the Mark Wahlberg from Ted, where we just got to start naming names. And Hamilyn, Tedlin, whatever.
Jamie Lynn, fuck. That's a great scene. That's a great scene. By the way, Ted, the series, coming to Peacock.
Interesting.
Yeah, hopefully it's not dialed back, because watching Ted a couple weeks ago on Netflix, hilarious movie. A lot of shit that wouldn't fly today, but you can't tame down Ted.
Yeah. And also, like, you can have too much Ted, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's probably a lot of Ted. I don't know if we need a whole series.
You know, like I like him for a movie. It's good for a couple of hours, but I remember watching it like, you know, quite a bit when it first came out. And I'm like, you know, I've watched this a little too many times. Then you take a few years off and you watch it again and you're like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But you don't want them overdoing it.
Nah, it's basically, you know, it's Peter Griffin as a bear.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on here. Kyler Murray was impressive in his comeback. Yeah, I don't know what the Cardinals are doing with their evaluation with him. They could be in line to get the number 1 pick in the draft and get Caleb Williams. But if not, Kyler Murray, you know, playing in this offense with Jonathan Gannon, we'll see where it goes. But another bad loss for the Falcons there. 3 in a row now. They're going back and forth. I think Tyler Heineke got hurt with a hamstring injury, so Desmond Ridder came into the game. I thought Kyler Murray may have been an option for the Falcons this offseason, but we'll see if they stay with him. But yeah, even though the Falcons have lost 3 in a row, they're right there with the Saints in that old NFC South.
Cardinals are going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on because, like, I don't know, we kind of forgot about them after the beginning of the season, and with Kyler, now that he's scampering around back to doing the
Scamping around that scamp.
Doing the old running like Mr. Krabs, you know, with the sound of Mr. Krabs in the background, like he's chasing money. Interesting team to keep an eye on there. But God, who'd they beat this weekend?
Falcons.
Yeah, it's a good win. Falcons. Jesus, reeling.
And did you see the 5-minute rant that Arthur Smith had on not giving Bijan Robinson the ball in the red zone?
I didn't see it, but I saw that it was a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing, all right, with no real answer in the end. And then, of course, he gives the ball to him this week, but it didn't equate to a win. Dallas dominated. They dominated at home, and they beat up on bad teams at home. Like the Raiders beating Tommy DeVito a week ago. It's like pistol whipping a blind kid. So good for the Cowboys. I got nothing much to say here. It was 49-17, and I feel bad for the Giants.
We're getting fooled again. ESPN, you're getting fooled again. We are not going to be the Who, or we are going to be the Who. We won't get fooled again. Because the Cowboys are just good against bad teams. They're not good against good teams. Not going to fall for it. I'm seeing Dominique Foxworth on ESPN saying Dak's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. No,
What?
he is not. Yes, because of the way that he's played behind the offensive line.
Nah, I honestly, I couldn't tell you who's playing the best. Like probably Mahomes by default, maybe Jalen Hurts. There hasn't been impressive quarterback play this season.
Brock Purdy.
No, yeah, Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy's been right there, man.
Yeah, good point.
You know, Josh Dobbs. No, it's there's not many to choose from this year, but I'm not going to fall for it. I'm not going to fall for it. Not against that Giants team. Nope.
Yep. No, I hear you. And then finally, I think the most impressive win of the week and the most exciting game of the week, Lions beating the Chargers 41-38. They were physical in the run game. They were great in the pass game. They played good defense. And honestly, they couldn't stop Justin Herbert. This was probably the best that Justin Herbert looked all season. And in the end, it wasn't enough. The Lions are just motivated by Dan Campbell. They're resilient. Their running game is, I mean, they will pose a threat to the Niners or Eagles if they face against them in the playoffs. Their ability to run the football is very impressive with Jahmyr Gibbs. That guy's doing it all right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in football, and Jared Goff is having a comeback season with Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. That's the guy I think that needs to help Josh Allen. Dan Campbell is doing a fantastic job, and I think this team is legit. I was very impressed with the Lions. I was very impressed with the Chargers as far as offense. I think this is setting up for the Chargers to retain Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator, but ultimately fire Brandon Staley, and you could probably put Dan Quinn in that job. Probably makes sense because they know each other. But I came away very impressed with the Lions. I think they're one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah, you want to talk about just a team being healthy when they need them to be. David Montgomery as their running back. He was missing for a month, and I know that because he was on my fantasy team. But the fact that they got him back, that made a huge difference in this game by the looks of it. Again, I didn't really watch, but I mean, when I see David Montgomery rush for 119 yards, that has to count for something.
Yep.
And you know what? I had 4 overreactions, but I'm going to cross this one out because I don't think this is even in the conversation to be an overreaction. But the Lions could very well be the number 1 seed in the NFC by the end of the year. Like, you look at their schedule.
Yep.
Damn, we're doing a lot of schedule look in this pod.
Yeah, we should be that guy from who's the dude from MSNBC?
Sergio Dip.
You know who I'm talking about, like the projection guy that looks at the fucking polls.
Yeah, the khakis.
Yeah, the khakis. Yeah,
khakis glasses guy.
Yeah. He'll be doing a lot of that on Sunday Night Football, the pregame Football Night in America. You'll be seeing, but no, I do not think that is a overreaction. I think the Lions could very well get the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Dude, listen to this schedule, okay? They still have 2 more games against the Bills, against the Bears. And Jesse just texted me. It's Steve Karnacki.
Steve Karnacki. Yep.
That's the man. God. Can't wait for election day. That man will thrive. You think Scott Hansen doing his red zone thing's impressive? Just watch Karnacki go to work on election night. So they got the Bears 2 more times.
Yep.
They got the Packers once more, and they already crushed the Packers earlier this season. They got the Saints. So they could very well be 11-2 by the time they're in the middle of December. And then after that, they have the Broncos. Then the last 3 games, 2 of them against the Minnesota Vikings. And then you have the Cowboys in the space in between. So, man, they could very well end this season with just 3 losses this year.
And that would be,
damn.
I mean, the best season the Lions have seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, give me your other overreactions.
All right, the other ones. CJ Stroud, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'd say that's quite an overreaction.
Is that an overreaction?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Is it? Look at what he's doing right now. Look at what he's doing. First ballot.
Okay.
Okay. No, seriously. Do you think MVP conversation is too much of an overreaction, though? I saw a lot of that this week. Overreaction or underreaction? CJ Stroud, MVP.
I'd say overreaction because a rookie quarterback has never won MVP before. And despite the fact that he's very impressive right now, I'm not willing to give him MVP. They'd have to be the number 1 seed in the playoffs for me to give him MVP. I think he's having a very impressive season, hands down rookie of the year. But as far as MVP, no, I don't think that CJ Stroud should get that.
I agree. It's way too early in the season for that conversation. I know it's like we're kind of in the back stretch here, but still there's a lot of games left. And for all we know, like CJ Stroud could look like a different quarter. Right now, he's playing with an all-time level of confidence. Like you could just tell every move that he's making. He's just the way that his body language is out on the field. I managed to watch the highlights this morning. This dude just these perfect precision throws, being able to throw guys open. He has all that ability, but I don't think it's going to translate into MVP talk.
But think about where we were during the draft. Remember when there was talk about him falling out of the top 10 or because he failed some test? Think of how ridiculous that is now.
The S2 cognitive test?
Yeah, the S2 cognitive test. Think about how ridiculous all that shit was.
Stupid.
Yep.
It's stupid. Again, like, we've brought it up with Brock Purdy before, but I think moving forward, I think people are going to change the way they evaluate quarterbacks because there's just certain things where you just can't get out of their own way. And it's like, I don't know if he was on the Panthers, I don't know if he'd be doing much better, but but Bryce Young is looking like just almost a miss as the number 1 overall pick because he hasn't done much to kind of help his case with Carolina. CJ Stroud is infinitely better, but also he's got a better team around him, more stability in the coaching staff and all of that.
That's the thing, though. You look at the skill set or the skill receivers that that CJ Stroud's working with. I mean, Bryce Young has Adam Thielen and DJ Chark. For CJ Stroud, he's got rookie Tank Dell and Pharaoh Brown, I think, is a wide receiver. Nico Collins. He's not working with the best of the best, and he's making it work.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's a good point. I love Tank Dell, by the way. Tank Dell is just, he's awesome. His hair, the look, speed, how small he is.
I thought the bigger tank, rookie-wise, this season was going to be Tank Bigsby.
That was a good call.
Yeah.
What happened to Tank Bigsby?
He's still around for the for the Jags, but not really doing much. So yeah, he's falling down on my tank rankings.
Okay. Well, what about on your Bigsby rankings?
No, he's right there. Next to Clayton.
Okay. Another overreaction. This might be an overreaction. I know we talked about him, but the Minnesota Vikings, they found their next franchise quarterback with Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, that's an overreaction.
Overreaction?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What do? They're in a weird place because they might have some success this year. They might squeak into a playoff spot, but after this year, what do?
They draft, or they bring back Kirk, or they've always talked about upgrading the quarterback position. I think that's something that has been kind of in the rumor mill for a long time now, where they want to move on from Kirk. But I feel that they definitely want to upgrade a quarterback. I don't think Josh Dobbs is the answer, but I do think that they want to make a significant move at quarterback next season.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they would. All right, last one. Out of all the coaches on this hot seat, talked about Sean McDermott, but is it an overreaction to say that Dennis Allen's seat is the hottest after losing to the Texans?
Or the Vikings?
Excuse me, the Vikings, yes. Continue.
Maybe lose job. Maybe he goes back to be defense coordinator. I would say that no, he does not have the hottest seat right now.
So it's an overreaction.
Yes, I would say it's an overreaction, but at the same time, I would not be surprised if they end up firing Dennis Allen too. Because even if they made, they probably win the division by default right now.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Thought
of that when making that one.
But I think Ron Rivera, I think Bill Belichick. You might see a weird thing where Belichick leaves the Patriots and then Mike Vrabel's like, "Can I get out of my contract with the Titans to go coach the Patriots?" Because him and Robert Kraft were awfully chummy a couple weeks ago when they were honoring Vrabel at a Patriots game. And I think they're doing a whole rebuild with the Titans. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel wants to bolt.
That's a really good call. Yeah. I think that's the next move they'll make. The Patriots love their own people, and Vrabel, obviously known in the organization, and he just bleeds the Patriot way, even though he's with the Titans right now. So, yeah.
And also, I think Ernie 2 is right here. Ernie 1, my bad. He thinks that Chargers is the hottest seat right now for NFL coaches of Brandon Staley. I agree. And I think that Dan Quinn makes a lot of sense. If they're going to keep Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn knows him from the Cowboys days, can help with that defense that obviously is struggling. I would look for that situation.
It's that mix, man. It's the new evolution. Defensive-minded head coach, offense genius guy as the offensive coordinator. You're seeing it kind of with the Cardinals a little bit. I don't really know too much about their offensive coordinator, but he's in his first year as the OC. He was with the Browns for a while.
Yep.
Jesus. So, yeah, that's one direction that could be headed. All right, that's it.
And yeah, by the way, did you see that Dan Orlovsky on, I just saw this pop up today, I don't think on Duff Kleiman. Dan Orlovsky said that he's heard that Bill Belichick is already, it's already done. Like he's going to walk away from the Patriots this season, and he already has a team in mind that he's going to be the head coach / general manager for.
Really?
Yeah. If I had to guess, I'd say Commanders.
Wow.
Just because they have a brand new owner, they want to make a splash, and they will be willing to give all of the power to Belichick like that. Can you imagine Belichick and Magic Johnson having meetings?
I'm so excited to have Bill Belichick with the Washington Commanders organization! !
Yeah, that's a tweet.
That's the tweet coming out. That's kind of interesting.
So, little update on the Warriors here. This is impressive. Despite no Steph Curry, no Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green, the Warriors are leading the Minnesota Timberwolves, the best defense in the NBA right now, 83-76. We'll see if it holds, but right now your leading scorer is Brandon Podziemski.
Yeah.
This is impressive.
Yeah. Podziemski's killing it right now, but a lot to go in the fourth quarter. We've seen them just, this is where it's going to crunch time is where the Warriors have still questions to be answered, like their closing lineups and all that. And now that you don't have Steph in there in the final 8 minutes, can they actually rely on Podziemski there? That's going to be a big test, an early test.
We shall see. We'll let everybody enjoy the fourth quarter. Thanks to everybody in the chat tonight. Skills, AJ Cruz, both the Ernies, Jesse in the background with her mask on. And we'll do Jackass of the Week come Saturday. We'll do Jackass of the Week when we pick the games. Real quick, Thursday night. We forget to do this every time. Bengals at the Ravens. Let me pull up the betting line for a second. Bear with me, everyone. Get on the floor and growl with me.
The hell?
It's an old joke.
Oh.
Or not an old joke, but a joke I do. Yeah, bear with me, guys. Growl with me. Grr, like a bear. The Ravens are favored by 4, and the over-under is 46.
You know what? I'm going to count on it being a close. You know what? No. Ravens favored by 4. They're always really good at home. Give me the Bengals to win outright. As they come back, bounce back. Give me the Bengals to win, and I'll take the over.
I'll take the Bengals to win as well, but I'll go under on the 46. All right. Until Saturday, everybody. Thanks to everybody for listening and watching. We'll see what happens with the Warriors game, and we'll react to it come Saturday. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man. It's quick.